Very nice.
Thank you, Avantika. And thank you, Bharat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you. Excellent. Thank you. Very devotional.
Alrighty. So, Vidurji, what should we do next? Should we get
Okay, yeah, you can start.
we
It's
start?
already like 7:15.
7:50? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm having some network problems here. So let's see how much I'll be able to share, but I'll still bring up my PowerPoint presentation and get started with that. And all of you are muted, and whenever needed, I will check with you and request you to unmute yourself to answer my questions like that. So, okay. So, Vidurji, are you able to see my PowerPoint?
Let me see.
Or maybe not.
I can only see you.
You cannot see it? Okay, let's see. Why is it not allowing me to share? I'll have to end the show. Okay, I'll have to start over again here. Yeah. I've been having, problems since morning on that. Okay, let me share the screen here.
Is there anyone else who can see the her presentation?
No, it's not
No.
coming.
You can't
Okay,
see?
so no, we can't.
Okay, let me give it a try one more time and see whether.
Yes, now we can.
Now
Now
you
we can.
All
Mhm.
right. Okay, and let's see, can you see it now? Oh God, can you see it now?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
nine stages of devotional
Service,
service.
and it is covering your entire screen, right? Is it on the
Yes,
whole screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's
yes, it's perfect.
it's good. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, there's some other 15, 16 windows popped up here. So let's see. Okay, so I will get started here. So thank you so much, Viduji, for inviting me over for this call. And
Oh, thank you.
and we will start with, I always look forward to these classes because, like I said, I've never seen a congregation more devoted and more enthusiastic towards devotional.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I'm pretty sure that you all are. I'm talking about the 9 stages of devotional service, but you all are on a pretty high stage over there in Modesto. So Modesto is like the dharma bhumi here. Full of very, very nice. Yeah. So I'll start with the prayer to the spiritual master, and I'll spend a little time explaining also after I've done this. So, Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So let's pause here and see that what is it that we are singing here and why are we singing this? So this is, before we start anything on devotional service, this is a little prayer of thanks that we give to our spiritual master who has done certain things to us. And what are the things that the spiritual master does to us is actually mentioned in this prayer. So you see at the bottom, the prayers are there, the 2 lines are there. So Om is, calling out to the Om. All the major verses in our literature, they start with Om, especially in the Vedic literature. And so it is telling us one thing that the spiritual master does to you, or your guru does to you, and that is that Ajnana Timarandhasya. So it says that I was in the darkness and I was blind. So just as you cannot see in the darkness, you are blind. Similarly, I was blind because I was in complete ajnan. I did not have proper knowledge. So I was like, a blind person with the eyes closed. So Om Ajnanatimrandasya, I was in the darkness of illusion or ajnan. Jnananjana Shalakya. So what my spiritual master did is he took the torch of knowledge. Shalakya is a torch. So he took a torch of knowledge and he opened my eyes. So that's one way of looking at it, that you take the torch of knowledge and you open my eyes, which were closed in ignorance. Or my spiritual master used the anjana. Anjan is an ointment. So, and you apply an ointment, like most of the ladies here might know how to apply kajal and surma. Like surma comes in a little bottle with a stick inside it, you take it out, and then you open your eyes and you apply the ointment, the black ointment. Similarly, here it's saying that you open my eyes, which were closed from disease of ignorance, you open it by applying the anjana, the ointment of jnana. So unless and until you get proper knowledge, we will remain in ajnanata, will remain in ignorance always, right? Chakshur unmilitam. Chakshu means eyes. So using the Jnananjan Shalakya, my spiritual master opened. Unmilitam means opened my eyes. Like a lid, you open it like that. So he opened my eyes. Unmilitam yena. He's that person who opened my eyes. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Therefore, I bow down to my spiritual master. Okay. So this is a good practice that, and maybe sometime tomorrow, Viduji, I will give you this, the text for this with an explanation like that, the meaning also as a document, and you can put it in your on your
Sure.
website. It's a good practice. It's a good practice to to sing this one. So after we do that, because when we are talking on any devotional, when we are talking on any devotional topic, then without the help of the spiritual master, actually whatever we speak, we don't prepare every word that we're going to say over here. We might just put some general guidance like slide deck, or sometimes people have a notebook and they are just referring to the notebook, but it's not word by word that we prepare. And every word that we speak and any verses that we refer to, they all come from the mercy of the Lord, which is from the mercy of Krishna. But we cannot get the mercy from Krishna. Doesn't flow to us like that. Krishna's mercy comes to us through the medium of our spiritual master. So that is why, before we start anything, we bow down to our spiritual master so that we first get his mercy. And when we have his mercy, then we'll be able to receive Krishna's mercy to say and to speak anything substantial on whatever topic on devotional service that we are talking about. So that's the mood in which we start our discussions. And so our agenda was to have kirtans. So we had kirtans. And one of the things that I was thinking today was that there's a famous saying that Hari Ananta Hari Katha Ananta. And so, which basically means that Krishna is infinite, he's endless, and his katha is also endless. And I'm just seeing that how we had started with Avantika singing and then me giving a lecture, and now today we had 2 extra bhajans there. So you see how Krishna's katha just expands itself and captures everybody here like that. So I'm just hoping and praying that all of you in Modesto are attending so many classes on Krishna and listening to so much of Krishna Katha, and you will at some point in time definitely, and you should, for everything that you capture from any of the classes that you attend, your mood should always be that let me share it with as many people as possible. So if you have somebody, relatives who are visiting you, tell them about the cool things about Krishna. And if you're going out anywhere, you're talking to somebody back in India, talk to them about Krishna, because the best words and the best topic of discussion are discussions of Krishna. So Krishna Katha for us also, we have seen is expanding. So I'll do a little bit of Krishna Katha here, hoping that my system doesn't bomb on me today. And then we'll take some reflections and questions. I'll try to make it as interactive as possible as we go along. So we have been talking about the 9 stages of devotional service. And I had brought up a verse there. And talking about that verse and which talked about the 9 stages of devotional service, though that particular verse will take you and guide you through the various stages of devotional service that you should go through to be able to reach the ultimate goal of life. So does anybody remember what is the ultimate goal of life? And you'll have to unmute yourself, because now Zoom doesn't allow us to unmute anybody, which is fair. Yeah, fair enough. So
I think Prem of God.
Prem of God says, and is that Shama Mataji who said that? Fantastic. Yes. Ultimate goal of life is to get love of God, right? Prema Pumarto Mahan. So love of Godhead is and that love of Godhead actually is called devotional service. So love of Godhead is nothing else than bhakti. Okay? So we talked about the 9 stages of devotional service: Adao Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Tata Bhajana Kriya, Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat, Tato Nishta Ruchis Tatha. So if you look at if you're looking at the screen, you see that some words are in black and some of them have got a color, different color. So the ones in different color are the stages over there. So anybody would like to unmute and read what are the stages? Just those colored words which are telling you the stages of devotional service. And each person just give me one. Unmute yourself and just give me one word from this. One stage that you find. Any one stage.
Shraddha.
Shraddha. Okay, very good. There were many takers.
Sadhu Sangha.
Sadhu Sangha. Very good.
Bhajan Kriya.
Bhajana Kriya. Very nice. And?
Narth Nivritti.
Yeah, Anartha Nivritti, yes.
Nishtha.
Nishtha and
Ruchi.
Ruchi. Okay, so how many did we count here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 we have done, right?
7.
7. One Sadhu Sangha is 2, Bhajana Kriya is 3, Anartha Nivritti is 4, and Nishtha is 5, and Ruchi is 6, right? And if you go to the next slide, then we have 3 more. So can you give me 3 more?
Atha Shaktis.
Atha Sakti,
Bhavas.
Bhavas,
Bhavas,
and Prem.
Prem,
Right? Yeah. So this is Atha, it is Atha Asakti. So Atha is and, right? Atha and or thereafter. And then Asakti is, intense attachment. So if I go back to the previous slide, can you tell me how many have you already covered in detail?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Six.
covered up to Ruchi.
Did
Six.
we do Nistha? Yeah, like going in detail. Like one day I talked about Shraddha, right?
Yeah, I think you covered 6.
Did I cover Nishtha?
6.
Detail? Right?
It's a
In detail.
penetrating
Yeah. Yeah. So the first day I had covered all 9 of them briefly at the higher level. And then for the next subsequently, I had covered Sadhu Sangha, one session, Bhajana Kriya, another session. Last time we did Anartha Nivritti, right? And then now we'll go deeper into Nishtha, because Nishtha is very, very important. And Nishtha is something that I'm seeing a lot in you, in the devotees here who have joined the call in Modesto for us. So before I go to the next topic, if you can unmute, you can mute yourself, right? So mute yourself so that whenever there's no background sounds there, and but I'm going to give you the privileges to unmute yourself when I ask you a question there. So let's get going here. So we talked about 9 stages of devotional service. You've already covered that. We have already talked about that. So I'll quickly go through these. And so what was the first one? First one you said is Shraddha. And we said that Shraddha is wherever you place your heart. And we said that there are stages within Shraddha also. So as you develop gradually going through the 9 stages of devotional service, your Shraddha also moves from what is known as Komal Shraddha to Shraddha, which is very firm. And I had given the analogy of a banana tree versus a banyan tree, right? You can shake a banana tree very easily. Even with one hand, you can move it, but you cannot move your a banyan tree because it's so rigidly, attached to the ground there. Then we also talked about sadhu sangha, and we said how we can imbibe good qualities of the sadhus by being in touch with them here. And then we went to the next one, which was bhajana kriya, and that is that you start doing devotional service in an organized manner. Otherwise, most of us, what we do is that, we will go and do devotional service whenever it feels like it, right? And in our own way, we will do it. We'll do a little bit of this. We'll do a little bit of that. For example, I come across people who'd say that all the religions are equal and the same. It doesn't really matter whatever you do, but it does. It does. And all the religions are same, definitely in the sense that they are all talk about God and they all talk about serving the Lord. But the paths that you take to reaching that goal, which is love of God, is different for different religions and is associated with the kind of mood that you are in, like that. So we have to do things in a formal manner and under the guidance of a spiritual master. So when you bring in a spiritual master, you take diksha from a spiritual master, then you are actually doing proper bhajana kriya there. So that's the stage number 3 over there. And then we talked about anartha nivritti, where we said that all the bad habits, we're going to give them up. And this habit of, having negative thoughts, black thoughts in our minds, we get rid of them by doing what is known as thought substitution. And that is, whenever there's a bad thought comes to our mind, we observe, we realize that has happened. And then we say, okay, no, I'm not going to go down that path. Instead, if I'm thinking with envy or with greed or with pride, any of those thoughts come, then I'll, instead of thinking of that, and instead of pursuing that route and going around that route, I'm just going to think of Krishna. So slowly, as you pour Krishna Katha into your mind, then all the negative thoughts which are there in your mind will get out. They will overflow and they will go out. They'll be demolished. And then your mind will become absolutely neat and absolutely clean there. Right? And one of the analogies that is given in our literature is that of Gundicha temple. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given a nice pastime of where he had lots of people come in and clean this temple. So in the insides of the temple, they were about, 50, 60 people, men. It's a big temple. And they brought lots of, those days there used to be pitchers. So they brought lots of pitchers of water and they would pour and, to clean it. But even before they could clean the temple, they first had to sweep it. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked his disciples, like, okay, go come and clean this temple. So initially when they started cleaning, so there were big things, like big straws were there, big pieces of paper were there, big stone pieces were there, and they cleaned it all up, threw it out. And then he said, okay, now he took a broom and then started sweeping away the smaller particles which were there, smaller particles of dust or a small piece of paper or a little small peel of orange which is stuck somewhere there. So then he cleaned that. And then he said, okay, now bring in the water. And then they cleaned the water, right? And then while they were cleaning the water, some of the water flown, and it went outside the temple. And then it started, muddying the things outside. And then he took up a broom and also started cleaning the temple from outside, and then asked people to bring more water, pour it, and then clean it there as well. So what he was trying to explain to his disciples there was that this Gundicha temple, which is in Orissa, by the way, and you can always go and visit it. It's very close to Jagannath Puri. And so when this cleaning of the Gundicha temple is actually a symbol of how we should be cleaning our mind. And we saw that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was getting the temple clean, in the beginning, big things came out, like big pieces of straw or a big stone or a big piece of mud or a big banana peel, like that, So like that, it was being cleaned. So similarly, when we are cleaning our minds, it is easy in the beginning to see what our bad habits are. For example, somebody might say, I have a bad habit of drinking alcohol. Somebody might say, I have a bad habit of gambling. And then, that's fine. You give it up. You can always give it up. So that's cleansing your mind of the desire to gamble, the desire to cheat, the desire to have alcohol and be intoxicated and things like that. So in the beginning, it's easy. And we see bigger faults are easy to see, but smaller faults are very difficult to find because they are very small and very subtle in nature. For example, I might say that I have given up alcohol. I don't drink any alcohol, so I'm fantastic. I'm, absolutely good, right? So I might just think like that. I'm not having any intoxication. No, you go to your doctor. The doctor can examine you over a period of time, and he say that this person is alcohol-free. There's no intoxication, right? But intoxication can appear in your life in many different ways. Intoxication, you can also be intoxicated not just by alcohol, but I can be intoxicated by any of the things that I have. For example, I could be intoxicated, mad mast bolte na, I could be intoxicated because of the wealth that I have. One could be intoxicated because of the strength they have, the power that they have, right? Usko power ka nasha chad gaya, right? So you can get intoxicated. So this is also an anartha, but it's very difficult to spot and difficult to clean as well, right? And then the second thing which he demonstrated was that, when you're cleaning your mind and, all the temple and all the water was going out and it was creating a muddy thing outside. So the temple was surrounded by a muddy environment. And then what happens if somebody walks through that muddy environment and comes inside the temple? What he's going to do? The temple, which was recently cleaned, is going to become dirty again because of the dirt that people brought the dirt. So this was also demonstrating who you are associating with. If you're on the path of devotional service, but you're still keeping your associations with, the alcoholics, the gamblers and things like that, then they will have their influence on you. And whatever cleansing that you're doing, that will get all spoiled and mucked up. And that's why he asked them to clean the stuff outside also, which was like, it was not that we go and reform all the alcoholics. What it was showing was that you reform and you clean your choices on who do you associate with, right? Like, if you want to become a lawyer, you associate with lawyers. If you want to become a doctor, you have a doctor's association. If you want to become a drunkard, all that you have to do is to hang around with some drunkards, and guaranteed you'll also start having alcohol soon, like that. And if you hang out with devotees, guess what's going to happen to you? You'll also become a devotee, like that, right? So that's what that particular pastime was demonstrating there, which was done by, enacted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm going to begin to share my screen again as soon as I can find where my mouse has disappeared. And if you can again, one more time confirm, you can see the Gundicha temple on your screens, then we'll go ahead. And maybe you'll have to nod your head to tell me, okay, I can see Usha Mataji is nodding her head very vigorously. So this means we have some good news there. Okay. So there are some anarthas that will still remain in us. So as we are cleaning, there'll be some anarthas that remain. And one of the anarthas that can stay in our mind is Vaishnava Aparadha. if we do something wrong, if we insult a Vaishnava, which is a pure devotee of the Lord, then we cannot progress in our devotional service. So we should very carefully guide against this, and it will take some time for us to do that. And to do that, we have to go into a mood where we can go and do devotional service in a proper manner. And last time I had given a homework, right? That get into the habit that when you get up in the morning, go into the mood. And the mood was that I'm opening my mind in front of the Lord. I'm opening my mind in front of God, and I'm saying that God, matsamo na asti patatma, that there is nobody who is a worse sinner than I am. So when we get into that mood and realize that we have got bad things inside us, we will be in a mood to receive information from others. As long as I think that I know I'm the best, I'm the greatest, and nobody can, do anything to me, as long as that thing is there, then I will not be in a mood to listen. If anybody is sitting in front of me and my teacher is trying to tell me something, I'll just sit in front of my teacher and say, I know that, I know that, I know that. I'm just waiting for my teacher to stop speaking so that I can speak, right? So that's the general mood that we sometimes have. And as long as those anarthas are lying in front of us. And that's why we see that in our culture, in the Hindu culture in India, when the guru was speaking, the shishyas would just be silent. They would not speak at all. It was considered to be bad manners to speak when but then now things have changed. It's Kali Yuga, we've come a long way, and mind is going here and there. So we have to engage, and so that's why we have interaction. So that's fine, like that. So matsamo nasti papata na paradhi cha kaschana, and there is nobody who is a bigger aparadhi than I am. Parihare pi lajja me kim bhruve purushottama. So he's saying that if I am such a big sinner and I've done all kinds of aparadhas, that what can I speak in front of you? I'm so fallen. And the more fallen that you think you are, the more mercy you get from Krishna. This is a fact. The lower you go, the higher you'll rise, like that. Okay. So that's opening of the mind was one thing that I had mentioned that we should do. And then second was that, when you get up in the morning, bring Krishna into your life, and by chanting this prayer, Pratah Prabodhito Vishnu Rishikena Yatvaya Yad Yad Karishye Ishana Tat Karomi Tavagya. And it was saying that, oh Ishan, oh Krishna, oh Rishikesh, you have awakened me. So in the morning when I get up, you have awakened me, and I'm ready to do whatever you wish to do. You want me to do today. Because Krishna has his own plan. Like Krishna's plan was that for 3 months non-stop, all of us should be inside, shelter in place. Nobody is allowed to go out. That was Krishna's plan. Right? We had our own plans. There was a wedding planned in my family. People were supposed to fly from all kinds of places and all kinds of directions, but it didn't happen like that. So that's again another prayer that we should do. And so that, there'll be cleansing of our mind. And then next one, before you put your step, put your foot outside of the bed, you say, Samudra Vasane Devi, I'm praying to the Mother Earth. Parvata Sthana Mandale, Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam, Pada Sparsham, Shamaswame. So the prayer is that, oh Mother Earth, I'm offering my humble obeisances, my Dandvat Pranams to you, and you who are the Lord of Vishnu. So Vishnu Patni says there. And he's saying that you are decorated with mountains, and you are the residents of the oceans live in you. So please forgive me for stepping upon you. So this is also such a nice mood of respecting the environment, respecting Mother Earth. And for after so many hundreds of years of not respecting Mother Earth and giving no damn to whatever we are doing, exploiting Mother Nature, then she gets angry. And so things like this coronavirus, etc. happen. When we constantly, don't pay heeds to the rules of the material nature, then what is happening to us was bound to happen. It is not a surprise at all. And you would have noticed that the happiest people during this stage are the devotees, because they don't have to do a commute to go to any place. They're not bothered by people coming and going. They have a lot of peace and quiet. We have got these fantastic Zoom calls that Vidhu Mataji has organized so that you can have unlimited supply of Krishna Katha in your life, like that. So then, not only do we remove the anarthas, not only do we get rid of the bad habits, but we also have to understand that we also have to develop some good habits. And the good habits, one of them is that you read some scriptures, do some bhajan, do some chanting, etc., etc. there, right? And then you will come to the next stage. Following all this, you'll come to the next stage, which is nishtha. Now, one of the things I also wanted to tell about the previous stages is that it's not that you go from one stage to another stage to another stage to another stage. It's more like a spiral, right? In the beginning, you will have komal shraddha, so your nishtha will also be slow. And as you progress in the stages of Shraddha and go towards, very strong Shraddha, then your Nishtha will also become strong, right? In the association of devotees, if you associate with devotees a very little, then your, other things will also, Nishtha will also be less, right? Shraddha will also be less. But if you associate more with devotees of the Lord, then your Shraddha will also go up, your Nishtha will also go up like that. So that's how it just goes, right? So Nishtha actually means steadiness. Steadiness in your devotional service is what is known as nishtha. So if all of you can unmute yourself and say loudly nishtha, then I'll know that you are with me. Unmute yourself. Nishtha.
Nishtha.
Nishtha. Nishtha. More.
Nishtha.
Okay. Nishtha.
Nishtha.
All right. Yeah, say that and then mute yourself. Yeah, there are many more who are still muted. Unmute yourself and speak. Nishtha.
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 All right.
Nishtha.
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 Very good.
Nishtha.
Nishtha.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so nishtha. And then I think this is just a repeat over there. So one of the things I wanted to point out here is that you require steadiness in your devotional service. Now, why do we need steadiness in devotional service? Now, does anybody recognize this Prabhuji whose picture I'm sharing on the screen with you? Have you heard of this person? Jasha, anybody heard about him?
No.
Okay, he's a world famous violinist. You see, he's playing the violin here.
Mhm.
And he used to, obviously, if you play any musical instrument, or for that matter, anything to do with music, for that matter, anything to do with anything that you're doing, you have to do a lot of practice, right? Otherwise, you go out of practice. So Jasha used to say that he used to practice violin, obviously, many hours every day, because he's a world-class musician. And so he used to say that if I don't practice for one day, if I skip practicing violin for one day, he says that I notice it. When I'm playing it, I notice that. And then he said that if I skip practicing for 2 days, then he said that my teacher notices that. And then he said that if I skip practicing for 3 days, then the whole world notices that. So just this world-class practitioner not practicing for 3 days, and everybody notices that something has gone wrong. He's not playing it as well as he used to play.
Wow.
You can imagine how important it is to practice. And so similarly, devotional service is an act, and we should be practicing that as well. Should learn how to practice that properly. So when we try to do nishtha is that I'm trying to do devotional service in a positive way without any breakages like that. So there are 5 obstacles that come in our way, which will prevent us from doing devotional service properly. And those 5 obstacles, these are Sanskrit words, and I'll go through them quickly. The first obstacle is called laya. And laya means that one feels more and more sleepy during chanting, hearing, and meditating in this order. So when you're chanting, you're a little bit sleepy, but you are the one who's talking, so you feel a little bit sleepy. But then when you're hearing somebody else speak, like can't control my sleep. And then the last one is that when you're trying to meditate, right? You close your eyes and you try to meditate. And guess what? You've fallen asleep. I've been to meditation camps where the teacher says, okay, now I'm going to have 15 minutes of meditation. And what you notice is somebody has fallen asleep in the class during meditation. So it happens like that. So these are obstacles. Laya is one of the obstacles that happens, that we will feel. It is very natural. So don't feel very bad if these things are happening to you in the beginning. But as you progress in devotional service, and I can see that and that is why now you know that why I always appreciate this congregation so much. And the reason for that is that I always say, that I have never seen a congregation which is so enthusiastic and comes and listens with attention and without fail comes to the sessions, right? All that you have every day. This is Nishtha. This is Nishtha. So you're here every day. Come what may. It doesn't matter, right? We remember Shraddha-devi Mataji, when she was going for her operation, she was saying, I'm going to miss the class. I mean, that's the taste. And that's the attachment to attending your classes that you organize, Vidhuji. And anybody else would have said, okay, no, my focus right now and how do I get better? I'm suffering from this, suffering from that. No, a bhakta of Krishna is always thinking of Krishna, always thinking of, feeling separation from Krishna because they belong to Golok Vrindavan. They want to go back to that place there. Like that. So so the first one I said is Laya, that happens. And let me just move over here. I have double screen, so they're giving me some grief there. Let me see, because I lose my mouse when I okay. I'm going to start sharing my screen again as soon as I get the mouse here. Okay, so then the next obstacle to Nishtha, to me being steady in devotional service, is known as Vikshep. Vikshep is you are discussing or remembering material topics when you are chanting or hearing. So you are in a class or you're doing your own puja, your mind goes off to something very material. Oh, I have to pay the income taxes. Oh, I have to put the pressure cooker. Oh, I need to run the dishwasher, like that. So you're doing devotional service, but your mind will go towards other material things and discussing them. So people can stop their prayers and then, wife can turn or husband can turn to wife and say, wo kagaz theek kar liye na, wo kagaz rakh liye na, like that. So we will just go on talking about discussing that also. Stop devotional service, turn around and discuss it with whoever is there next to it. And before you know, you are 100 meters or thousands of miles away from devotional service. You are completely immersed in the material pool and discussing mundane topics, because one topic leads to another topic. And how one topic can lead to another topic can be something very, very short. It could be something very, very subtle. Like, for example, I will say, oh, I can see Vidhuji on the screen here. Yeah, Vidhu. Yeah. Oh, did you say Vidhu or did you say Vidur? What is your name? Vidur? No, Vidur. Vidur is from Mahabharata. Mahabharata. Did you know that, a new version of Mahabharata is coming? Oh, no, I don't know. I like the one that B.R. Chopra did. Do you know the Duryodhan? Fantastic acting. Puneet Issar. What movies is Puneet Issar acting on like that? No, I don't watch Puneet Issar's movie. I like Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan, did you know what he's doing? Oh, his son, he's so cute. Do you think they're going to have another baby? So you see how from one point we have crossed the 7 seas and gone to India and we're discussing something over there, which by the way is none of our business. And this is the nature of mind. The mind moves like that. And it'll carry us away from devotional service all the way up to some muck, which we should not be putting our fingers into. Then the next obstacle to Nishtha is apratipatti. Apratipatti is saying that there is no lay. There is no lay, which means that I don't sleep during chanting, hearing, or meditating. I don't feel more and more sleepy through these stages, right? I don't even discuss and remember material things. I'm good on those 2 levels. But, even I don't have lay, I don't have escape. And I'm chanting and I'm hearing, right? But it is not proper chanting and it is not proper hearing of the Krishna Katha, right? When we are at that stage of devotional service, there is no Nishtha. There are these obstacles which are preventing us from going towards that particular stage. Then Kashaya. Kashaya is that we show signs of anger, greed, etc. Now, anger and greed are anarthas. They should be gone. Anartha nivritti is a stage before Nishtha, right? So as long as some of the anarthas will still remain, like when you're washing the Gundicha temple, some small pieces will remain here and there, a little bit of anger towards, maybe one person is only angering me, one person, I have got a greed for one thing, I just want that next car, I want the better model of the car, that's all that I want. Like that, so when those kind of things are there in your head, then that is known as Kashaya. So that's another obstacle, that I have some anger there in me, I have got some greed also is there, still left in my system here, right? And then rasasavad. Rasaswad means that Krishna's katha should bring ras in you. You should be enjoying and tasting it. But rasaswad is that, you have got the taste for the wrong thing. You don't have swad, you don't have taste for Krishna katha. I have taste for something else. And that's why you will see that sometimes, people in big gatherings, big temples, big people come. And like for example, right now, there's Jagannath Puri, there's Rath Yatra going on. People come in lakhs and thousands and they are chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Conch shells are blowing. People are doing that. You can see Lord Jagannath there. And then you find, somebody that you know in the crowd and he's like, hey, oh, how are you doing? How are you? And then how's your business running? And how are things? And how's your wife? And there you go. And then other person says that, oh, I suffered losses. So what do you suffer losses? Well, I was invested in stocks. Oh, it's stock. What stocks did you invest in? Oh, this one, that one. And before you know, you are on a totally deeply engrossed in material subjects while you were performing devotional service like that, right? So these are the 5 obstacles that we will have. And because of which we will fail and we will suffer in our devotional service. It's bound to happen to us like that. And well, it's a practice, as Josh said, that you have to practice every day. And if you don't practice devotional service, you are not watchful of these 5 obstacles that I've talked about, then in the beginning, you will know that I have got this. Yeah, I'm sleeping a little bit during my chanting. I sleep during this. I sleep during lectures like that. But then if you don't pay any heed, then others will notice that, oh, unko dekho, wo aati class mein so jate hain, like that, right? So we have to constantly practice, and we will have failures. We will have failures. Don't think that we are perfect. We are picture perfect and there won't be any failures coming our way. But the main thing to notice here is that what do you do when you have failures in life, right? What should I do when I have failures, right? So when I am having failures in my life, right, I'm supposed to go achieve my goal, right? And we had talked in the beginning that our biggest goal in life is to have prema pumato mahan. The biggest goal in my life was to achieve devotional service of the Lord and to achieve love of the God, right? That is my goal. And on my way to going to achieve that love of God, I'm hearing some background sounds. So I'm trying to mute you the noisy line. And if you see me muting yourself, then please don't unmute again, because then we'll go into a loop, right? Okay. So when you will come across failures in your path of trying to go into reach your goal. So there are many ways, there are many paths for you to reach a goal. There are many steps that you can take to reach a goal, and we could fail at a particular step like that, right? So when you are achieving and going on your path and you are coming across failures, at a given point in time when you are looking at and going through failures, it is difficult to know and to realize that this failure that I'm undergoing right now is actually a pillar of my success. If I learn things properly from this failure, then I will be able to go to the next right step. And then you will be able to look. Now, the thing with the failures are that we can only look back. Like, for example, if I'm at this stage, so I had a failure here, I had a failure here also, I had a failure here also, I had a failure here also, right? And at every stage, when I failed for the first time here, if I took the right path, one path was to go here and then go here, which means you are completely away from your goal, which is somewhere over here, right? Or somewhere over here. So if you took the right decision, made it your pillar of success, then you go to the next stage, and maybe you'll fail here again. And if you again take the right decision, then you go to the next stage. So you are able to connect the dots. These are the dots there. You connect all your failures and see that all your failures are actually leading you to success. That is something that you can only do in the past, because you only know the past. You don't know your future. So I can look back in my life and say, oh, when this happened to me when I was 16, okay, I thought this was a big failure, but it's good because of that, I did this and this and this and this. And that's why I'm here where I am, like that. Right? So, but make it a practice. Make it a practice to do this exercise every now and then to see what were the failures in your life that led you to take to Krishna consciousness. like that, or maybe it came naturally to you. Or what are the failures? Well, I used to sleep in the class, and then I took such and such and such and such measures, and because of that, now I have become a much better listener over there in my life. Right? So you won't be able to see that there are more failures coming your way, but they will ultimately all lead to God. And for that, to think like that, you should have Shraddha, you should have faith that whatever Krishna does to me, whatever plans Krishna has for me, they are all for my benefit only. Okay? So when I start practicing this, then Nishtha will come. Steadiness will come. And what does steadiness mean? Steadiness means that I will do the same thing without fail over and over, over and over, over and over again. And that is why it is also important to keep some small goals in life. Don't keep a very big goal that, by the end of this coronavirus thing, I will see Krishna, right? It might not be a realistic thing for us to do. Okay. And why it's not a realistic thing for us to do is because we are still in this body, and there are so many traps, there are so many impediments along our way. So, like, for example, the material world is like this. It looks like some sort of a beautiful flower. It looks like beautiful red color, beautiful yellow color, right? But this is not what it is. It is actually a plant, yes, but it's a deadly plant. And what does this plant do is that in the previous slide, you were seeing the inside of this. This is a flower. You're seeing the inside of the flower. But then you see from the side, it looks like that. So it is red inside and it's green outside. So when a little insect gets attracted by the red and goes inside, this flower quickly closes. And then the fly is trapped inside. And then this plant will eat. So there are carnivorous plants also that eat other insects. And similarly, Maya also eats us like that. She will show us a nice alluring picture like that, right? But this is how this is known as a Venus flytrap plant. And you see, this is what it is. But we do not see the big picture over there. We just focus on the red, beautiful thing, and then we fall there, right? So we have to have faith in the Lord. We need to go and have a proper person to guide us. We need to take association of devotees and then start performing and be watchful of the anarthas that we have in our life, right? When we talk about nishtha in our life, right? Nishtha is come what may, and let anything happen. And who is this in the picture? Does anybody recognize who this little boy is? Who's surrounded by snakes? It's a very famous story from our Shastra.
Maybe Prahlad.
Prahlad Maharaj, exactly. Who said that?
Prahlad.
Yes. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was his father. Who was Prahlad Maharaj's father?
Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu. There you go for 25 points. Yes, Hiranyakashipu was. Hiranyakashipu was his father. He was a demon, right? He was a demon, Rakshas, right?
Yes.
And but Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. He's Bhakt Prahlad. He was called Bhakt Prahlad.
Yes.
5 years old, right? He was 5 years old, and his father threw him into a snake pit like that, full of deadly snakes, because he asked him, like, who is the best? What's the best thing to do in life? He said the best thing to do in life is to do devotional service to Vishnu. And he didn't like it. He threw him from the top of a mountain. He had elephants come and try to trample him. He had him thrown into snake pit. You can see how many snakes are there. But he survived, and he kept on doing his devotional service. So even in our devotional service, of course, nobody today, hopefully, is going to throw us into a snake pit to test our devotional service, but we will get other things in other forms that will test our devotional service, right? So Nishtha, the other 4 things that we are doing, will help you with the Nishtha. Nishtha means that if I said I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'll chant the names of the Lord, then every day we should get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's steadiness. Every day I do it, and you are doing it. So that's the good news. So I will stop here. It's 8 o'clock, and thank you so much. If there are any questions for a few minutes, I can definitely take that. Any reflections, anything that you heard, anything that you liked from whatever we talked here. It was mostly a monologue, but do let me know.
You go over little impediments in impediments to Nishtha.
And what's the question, Usha ji? What's the question?
उसके बारे में मेरे समझ में नहीं आया. कौन से impediments है? एक तो माया थी, और what else is there?
Oh, so the impediments are, when I'm doing, I'm trying to bring up the slide here.
Uh-huh.
The impediments are the things, the habits, etc., or the situations, all my mind patterns that prevent me, that prevent me from focusing on devotional service,
Mhm.
right? So, and the impediments that I talked about there was, the first one that I said was le. So the first one which I said was that you feel sleepy.
Yeah.
I want to sleep. The moment I sit down with my beat, I want to chant. आंखें अपने आप बंद होती हैं. I want to sleep. I want to sleep. Or somebody else is giving a lecture. I am falling asleep. And a person could have spent the whole evening anticipating very happily. I want to go to the temple. There's a nice Krishna Katha coming. Somebody very nice has come from India, so on and so forth. I want to see the Maharaj, like that. But the moment you go and sit there, sleep comes over. Like it as if it's against our power. The sleep is coming. That's sleep is a big obstacle to nishtha, because in the morning, if I say that I want to get up at 5 o'clock and I want to pray to the Lord, then sleep is the biggest obstacle, right? I can't get up. I keep on pressing the snooze button on my phone, on my alarm, like that, right? So that was one obstacle, Uchaji. Then the second was that while I'm doing devotional service, anything, chanting, reading, hearing, I remember in my mind, material thoughts keep coming into my mind. So if material thoughts are coming into your mind, how can you be steady in devotional service, right? In that. And then it is saying that I don't sleep. And it's not that I don't think about material objects, but just like that, apratipatti was the next one. Just like that, I still can't chant. And I don't know why I can't chant, why I can't do that. And when you are not able to do, despite trying to do it, despite the fact that you are not sleepy, despite the fact that you're trying to give up material attachments, despite all that, if you are still not able to concentrate on the devotional service of the Lord, this means there are still some anarthas left. Maybe there's some little pride still left. There's some little greed that is still left. Or maybe, like I said, the biggest thing is I have done some Vaishnav aparad. I have behaved improperly with a devotee of the Lord. So you have to be very, very careful, not even think badly about them like that. No matter how bad they are, they might be doing anything that, you might think that, why are they doing this? And Pandit samajhte hain, or aise kaise kar rahe hain, like that. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, api chet suduracharo bhajte mam ananya bhag sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Then he says that even if somebody is doing durachar, right, extremely bad behavior, if he's a devotee, you don't criticize. Never criticize a devotee. Why? Because that devotee is on the path of devotional service, and every now and then people fall down from the path, but he will go back up. Why? Because Krishna is protecting him. At that time, he might appear to be, but it's not my business to criticize. And then Kashaya is that we have anger and greed in us, and that will be an obstacle to nishtha, to your devotional service, because I can get pride even in the fact that I'm a great devotee of the Lord. That also is a pride, We should not even have that pride that I'm a big devotee and, like that. You should always think, Trinadapi sunichena, taror eva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. What this verse says is, Trinad, I should be humbler than a blade of grass. Everybody tramples and walks on the grass. I should be humbler than that. Trinadapi, and taror eva sahishnuna, I should be tolerant like a tree, right? What do people do to a tree? People come and sit underneath the tree,
Cut it and
right? Cut it, right? They will put their, there are all kinds of things that people do to a tree. And so like that. And then the last one was that Tarurava Soshina, Amanina Manadena. So you should not, Amanina, you should not be expecting respect for yourself, but you should give respect to others. That's the mood that I should be in. Kirtaniya Sadahari, 24/7, you should be doing Kirtan of Hari. And 24/7 means that it's like, I am right now talking to you, but in my backward, in my subtle channels inside my head, in my subconscious, I'm still thinking about Krishna, like that, right? So although you could be still talking to your family, to your friends, to other people who are not much into devotional service, you might appear to be talking about mundane topics to them because of necessity, right? You go to the shopping complex, you have to buy some groceries, so you have to do some mundane talks, right? Here's my credit card and all that stuff, but you're still remembering Krishna at the back of your mind, like that. And then the fifth obstacle was that you have got deep engrossment in material subjects, very
Yes.
deep engrossment. Like, so the teacher is speaking for 1 hour, the teacher spoke, there was a katha, there was kirtan, and at the end of it all, you were like, oh, is it over? I was not even there in the class, right? So these are the obstacles, Shaji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Viduji, should I make you, I'm going to make you the host back again so that you can continue.
Thank you.
And let's go here.
Thank you very much. It was interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Devotional service is interesting. And so you will appear. I'm just trying to look because there's so many there on the screen. Okay, I see you as Harish Mehra ji, right? And I'm going to make you the host again.
I don't know the meaning of apratipatti. I don't know what does that mean.
Apratipatti. So I define apratipatti is that I do
ये
not
word
have.
नहीं इसमें. हिंदी में कोई और word है इसका?
Sanskrit ka word hai apratipatti, which means that yeah, that it's a situation, it's a condition of our mind. That even if I'm not sleeping, even if I'm not having material attachment.
नहीं मैं समझ तो गई मतलब तो समझ गई. I just didn't never read
I would
this
say,
word again.
Yes, the closest I would say is that it's a very famous word in Punjabi language. Amai. बिना किसी बात के, बिना किसी वजह के, उर्दू यूज है बिला वजह, right? और यूं ही नींद आ रही है नहीं आ रही, लेकिन फिर भी नहीं मन लग रहा भगवान पे. अप्रतिपत्ति.
Shaya is also a Sanskrit word.
Yeah, they all of them are Sanskrit words. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
so
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. गो प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल.
Hari
Okay, I'll
Hari
take your
Bol.
leave now. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to
Hare
discuss
Krishna.
Katha with you.
Thank you. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so
Thank you.
yes, one second. Did I not make you the host, Viduji, yet? Are you the host? Can you confirm? Because if I leave the meeting, it'll stop otherwise. Viduji?
Sorry. Yes, you did.
You're there? You're there?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Dandavat.
आप सब लोगों का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.